Ready Check Radio. What's up, Internet? It's Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That means here on Ready Check Radio, it's time for the Relic Grind, our Final Fantasy XIV Square Enix podcast, where we talk about things coming out of Square Enix, whether they're good or bad. And lately, it might be a little more of one than the other. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, as always, Magic Man, here to talk about all that fun stuff. If you're listening to us on Apple Music, Apple iTunes, and Spotify, and Audible, and wherever on your favorite podcast distribution platform, thank you so much. We very much appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, come on over to the site sometime. Hit it up, readycheckradio.com right there. I've got all the socials in the upper right-hand corner, so you can follow us on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all that fun stuff. Come and hang out with us live and talk Square Enix, RPGs, Final Fantasy XIV, 16, and so much more. It's always a blast. We've got chat hanging out with us live right now, ready to chime in on some things. So why don't you go ahead and welcome them, Mr. Chris Montoya, a.k.a. Tarkoth.
Greetings, programs. I'm working on my PvP because I need to get into that tournament and win that fat prize money, man. Fat prize money. Yeah.
I'm sure you are just
I'm going to make
all
it. In it to win it.
All over it. Also on the line, Mr. Paul Berlin, a.k.a. Flynn. What's up, sir?
Hello! Glad to be back. I'm feeling a lot less tired, considering it's the start of a brand new day here in the UK.
Yeah, just peeked over into midnight there, a little after midnight.
Yeah.
So we're actually doing the show through a time warp. We do the show here Thursday nights. Paul Flynn over there does the show Friday mornings. So we were talking through how is the next day of Final Fantasy over there for you?
Quiet so far.
Can you Google the lotto numbers for me, please, sir? Appreciate it.
Yeah, that'll do you a lot of good. The lotto numbers in Wales. That'll do great for you.
Let's get a talking channel for the Powerball or whatever your one is called over there.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, I'll take a Powerball win.
Mega
Powerball win, you'd never see my white ass again. I love doing this show and everything, but gone. My wife and kids would be on the show going, where the hell is that guy? Gone. You never see me again. That's all I need. Give me a few million. Yeah. You still going to do that show? Fuck no. I love doing that show, but I'm not giving away any location information about me anymore. You would not see me at all. Yeah, exactly, Takao. I don't know where Dad went. He said he went out to get some smokes.
Wow.
Just never came back. That would absolutely be me. Yeah.
Yeah, gaming cave in the mountain. VPNs everywhere.
100%. Yeah, I'd be gone. Poof. Gone.
Saturday nights I would check in on Torchwick just to make sure he's okay.
I'm looking a little tan, and I actually wasn't even out in the sun all that much because I was nerding it up in a game store this past week. But I guess going out for smokes in between around. Yeah, Florida. I'll tell you what, the Final Fantasy TCG tournament this past weekend, it was the first big event in the United States for the competitive season. Materia Cup at the Haven Games in Florida. I'm going to be doing a full recap stream of the event proper, my rounds, and all that fun stuff. Probably tomorrow night, actually, an unscheduled stream. I was going to do it Monday, and then I was like, I'll be doing live locals Monday. I can't really recap. So if I go live tomorrow night, it'll be about Final Fantasy TCG. All in all, though, Target was a great event. It was. Nice. You just felt so good to be doing this again. Right? I mean, it's been 3 years.
Normalcy, right?
Yeah, it's been 3 years since we had an actual Square Enix sponsored event and more importantly, a whole competitive season. So really looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I did not make Top Cut. There were 99 participants in this one. Event capped at, I believe, 100. And they sold all the tickets, but obviously, things come up and some people couldn't make it. So we ended up with 99. Which meant 7 rounds of Swiss and a top cut to 16. and that top 16 would play in day 2 for the 4 nationals invites, and then obviously trophies and prizes and stuff like that. I went 5-2, gents, in a world-class room, so that feels real good to start things off.
It does. And did you have fun?
I had a blast. I mean, it was just so good to be like, hey, there's Sam Prime, give him a hug. There's Matt Rice, give him a hug. There's Matt Okamoto, give him a hug. There's Greg Cole, like just James Lockwood, like just all of these people that, I'm internet friends with. And haven't seen in 2-3 years because they live, in Florida or California or whatever. That was the best part of it. And I'll tell you what, man, I just missed actually. Because obviously some 5-2s make it. Had to make top 16. I came in 21st.
Just right there on the edge.
Yeah, I'll go into more detail. The short version is if my round 2 loss would have happened in round 3 instead, I would have been in. Like I would have been. I would
one
have
of those
in.
weird ones.
Upper bracket kind of deal.
Yeah, because I lose in round 2, then my round 3 and 4, both of those that I won are against like middle third contenders, not top third, and so the strength of schedule on my wins works against me, even though the strength of that's the first tiebreak is strength of schedule. Yeah. So anyway, I'll go into full details. It was just so much fun. It was a blast. And if you're interested, we're going to do match analysis for all 7 of my matches and everything. Day 2, I did side events, did draft. I came in second in my draft pod, so picked up some additional prizing there. I did make top 32 in the main event, so I got additional prizing there. And then they ran a no top cut Swiss constructed side event, of which I think there was like 30 participants, and I came in second there, going 4-1. So like the entire weekend, my combined record's 11-4. Like you can't really bitch. First time out to a world-class event, leaving 11-4 with a ton of extra prizing, and it was just a great time. So looking forward to it. Not this weekend, but next weekend we have our first store championship in Erie, another chance to try and qualify for Nats. So I'll be at that as well. Go ahead, Tark.
I was going to say, I need to start paying attention a little bit more about my local scene since things seem to be on the upswing. Maybe things will start peaking up a little bit here around here, and maybe I can get into it. So
yeah, definitely. If you're interested, poke your local stores because there were like 200 some people watching the live stream of the event on the store's stream page. And we're noticing internally to like the community, the people that track and do content for it, like myself, we're noticing higher numbers, more people returning, more new players coming to the game. And not only is that a good thing just in general, but because of the competitive season returning, it brings all those wallflowers that bailed out because they're, hyper competitive. That's what they like about card games. There was no season, they left. They're back. So there's a lot of influx going on and a lot of new stores picking up the product as well, because it's also stopping. They're not having the availability problems that they previously had to. So it's in a good place. I hope it continues going that way. We'll talk more about it tomorrow, gents. Let's get down to some Final Fantasy XIV news first. Woo. We got the 6.4 patch special site up, and that's about it.
There's a site.
There is a site.
Very nice artwork.
Yeah, what do you think of this artwork, Flynn? The Dark Throne.
Oh, when he released this,
your boy sitting there.
Yeah. When he released this, so I can have it as my phone wallpaper, it's going there. It just looks that nice.
Yeah, when they drop the fan kit for it.
Yeah.
It does look awesome. Coming late May 2023. We kind of already speculated on that. Really, the only thing on the site right now, Tark, is kind of like the generic list. They'll go through later and they'll add the challenges and story, sub-sites. But anything new here that we didn't already know about? Main scenario quests. New raid dungeon, the Pandemonium, next one. The new instance dungeon, the Aether Font. New trial, Voidcast Dias. New variant dungeon. New Criterion dungeon, both of those in the .45, though. Blue Mage, also in .45. Unreal Containment Bay Z1T9. Additional duty support to Taru's Grand Endeavor. Somehow Further Hildebrand Adventures in 4.5. Weapon Enhancement for Manderville Weapons in 4.5. Tool Enhancement in 4.5. Island Sanctuary, Ocean Fishing, Elegant Tombstones of Comedy, new crafting, new mounts, minions, and emotes. I didn't see anything on there that we didn't already talk about on this show, but anything strike your eye?
Everything on that list was announced in the live letter, so there's nothing new with the list. The only thing that I would say that is new is seeing Azdaja corrupted and our Shadow Dragon dreams coming true for the Golbez fight. So that artwork is pretty sick. And the Laha Brea glyph.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell. Like, I'm showing the artwork here in the B-roll, and it's a little smaller. But if you look around the, kind of nestling around the back of the throne, you definitely see what looks like a dark dragon. What doesn't have the best looking eyes, right? things are looking a little soulless in there. But I don't know if it's true corruption or it's hard to tell. I wouldn't say no.
In game artwork, it was quite dark anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
she was trapped in like a light bubble prison, so like maybe she wasn't being corrupted there. They were feeding off of her, and maybe now just release the shackles and the void just pours in.
I mean, it would kind of make sense, right?
It would make sense, and it's a good homage to 4. Come on.
Yeah, if you're gonna stick with the callbacks to 4, then you got to have a corrupted dragon at some point.
Yes.
Who it is now? That's the other thing. Like you may get the old switcheroo, right? Like trying to protect his sister, he ends up corrupted. So like Yoshi P is very good and team are very good at that whole switcheroo sometimes, where you see something in the artwork and it's not quite what you thought. Maybe setting the stage for the old switcheroo. I'm not saying they are here. I don't think they are here, but it wouldn't surprise me either.
I don't see with him having this, what is it? Is it human figure that he uses to go into the 13th Thou? He's going to abandon that and take his own dragon form, Vitra was talking about, and just go into the 13th. So I don't see that happening. But yeah. People get a lot of confused though, because there's the Laha Brea glyph above. Yeah, and it is the Laha Brea glyph. It's just kind of frayed and janky. That's more of a
polar opposite. What to the other one?
It's a portent to the new raid that's coming out. So that's what that's for. So
yeah. See, now watch, Flynn. If there is an old switcheroo, Tark's gonna come back to the show and be like, "My God, how did you call that one?" Like, come on, man. That's ridiculous.
If they do, I will give you props. I'll give you props for calling that out.
I think I've had this chat with Tark before during the 6.3 post-dungeon stuff when, I forgot the name, Vritra was staring into the abyss a couple of times. Like, I see a sacrifice moment coming up. I see something... Some sort of stakes.
I'm with you. Like, I don't know if Vitra becomes like the possessed dragon or anything. I think it's certainly possible. Yoshi P's done stuff like that before, but I just have a feeling somebody ain't making it out of this storyline. I feel like you're right. Somebody isn't just not making it. Now, we also still have the potential for something to happen with Zero, right?
We could have a situation.
Yeah, sticking with Final Fantasy IV. We do have a Zeromus figure that we should expect to see at some point if we're going to do full-blown 4 nods here. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but Zero could just be the homage to the character name. But we'll see. I feel like they got to do something, because I'm going to be honest. It's not like I haven't enjoyed the story, but I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, cool fight. Nice. All right, let's go. Next patch. There hasn't really been like any of the moments in the 6.x series for me that I'm like, wow, that was a very cool story beat. Not to say that it's bad, but it just feels maybe run-of-the-mill so far is the best way I can describe it personally. Maybe I'm alone on that. I don't know.
I think it's because of the longer run-up as well, because we haven't got the usual we finished an expansion to 0.3 and it's big, epic, crazy. It is... across.
I've made that point before.
Post game.
I've made that point before.
Which point's that?
That 6.3 is usually our end of expansion, big moments. And then we shift to the next expansion of 6.4. So it's been different
Yeah,
series
because we did it in the .0 this time around.
In 6.0, yep.
Yeah. Really, Golbez being on the 13th moon ain't have you pretty hyped. I mean, it was cool, but there was like nothing unexpected about it, you know?
I just want to know who Golbez truly is. I think he's an
in the
Ascian.
context of 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's someone behind them. I think he might be an Ascian. I just don't know who that is.
Yeah,
we'll see. The teaser site obviously will be updated over the coming 4 weeks here as we run up to 6.4 itself. Then we move over to some FanFest news. Tark, you already packed? Like, I imagine you're pretty hyped. Like,
yeah, I got
suitcases by the door just waiting.
Suitcases right there. I'm waiting for my clothing merch to come in the mail, and then that will go directly into the suitcase. I got the journal from the 1.0 collector's edition. That'll be for autographs.
Oh, that'll be cool. Yeah, use it as a little autograph book. That'll be neat.
Yeah,
that'll be very neat. That's a good idea, bro. That's a good idea. So we've got new contests and the return of old contests. We have the glamour cosplay contest. So yeah, that's coming back. I always watch cosplay things, whether it's Final Fantasy XIV or something else, and I'm always like, I would really like to cosplay as something someday, like something cool, you know. And then I'm
you
like,
see all the work involved.
Well, yeah. Then I watch like NerdForge make something on YouTube, and Martina from NerdForge, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not nearly talented enough to do this.
I get like that with Adam Savage when he does his Comic-Con stealth costumes.
When is FanFest, by the way? July 28th and 29th for North America in Las Vegas, July 28th and 29th. So what do you win in this one? They've got anybody who signs up and checks in at the counter, you get one in-game item of your choice, either the Ahriman choker, bluebird earring, Gallicap, the great para serpent, mandragora choker, modern aesthetic strife, noble barding, or the scarf of wondrous wilt. So everybody gets something on that one. You can't, and you have to specify the character that's getting it. So when you enter, so trying to sell that
ride
one.
For crying out loud.
No trying to sell that one. Then they also have the art contest. We've seen that before, like illustrated stuff, cool screenshots that are altered or unaltered. They have kind of like different categories. And as far as prizing for this one, we have basically the same stuff, right? But only 200 finalists. Because obviously these ones are open to be digitally entered, right?
Sure.
Cosplay, you got to be there. So 200 finalists will receive one of those. But in addition, 12 winners will each receive the Endwalker Art of Resurrection Among the Stars book signed by Yoshi P himself. Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker Gaming Mousepad signed by Yoshi P. And a new in-game community fashion accessory item that will be announced at a later date. Pretty neat prizing, Flynn. Pretty neat.
Yeah.
What do you think of that mousepad? I love that. Oh.
So to play card games on, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, just take that mat to my locals. Doesn't matter what game I'm playing, I'll just use that mat.
No, don't you dare sully that mat with your DBZ cards. Get the hell out of here.
I don't play.
Is that the big desktop one that we're talking about?
Yeah.
I picked that one up for purchase.
Yep, but it is not signed by Yoshi P.
No. I guess I could take it with me.
Yeah, but then you got your autograph book. Like you know.
Can you sign both?
I think the book's better. I think the book's better.
I agree. 1.0. Come on.
Hey, there's a new contest. Well, there's two, but as far as like stuff like this, you know, kind of art, cosplay, fitting with that whole type of thing, glamour stuff, there's actually a video contest this year as well.
Ooh.
This is the first time they've ever done this one. You make a video to celebrate the game itself in a short video using in-game footage that showcases your favorite class or job that's designed to get viewers excited to play as that class or job. So, Tark, are you going to make yourself a class trailer and try to enter this one?
How long do I have to do that?
So your submission needs to be in by Wednesday, May 31st. So you have a month.
Okay, so I have time. Yeah, I might collaborate with some people and see about that. But like Larry Soar, he'd be a good person to enter on that. I don't know if he's still playing. What's going on with him? I loved his class guides. Pink would be awesome at that. So I'm looking forward to the submissions, and I might have to look around and get some collab details going on. Let's see.
I hope Cider Spider put something forward for this.
They keep saying short video, but I don't see. Oh, here it is. Video length must be a minimum of 15 seconds to a maximum of 30 seconds. So you are literally creating a hype class trailer. Like that is what you are trying to do.
Yeah,
you've got
short,
15
basically.
to 30 seconds. Yeah, a YouTube short. A Facebook reel, as it were, for your class. We've got all the same cosmetics on the prizing. We've got the community accessory to be named later, and we still got the mat and the art book. But those are only going to 3 winners of the video contest. So, yeah, 25 finalists will receive the cosmetic item of choice. So even smaller chances to win this one. All the rules are up on the FanFest site with all of their entry dates. And then, Flynn, we just got announced. Those all got announced on the 21st.
Yeah.
Then yesterday, they were like, sneak, and they put something else on the site.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, what do we got here, Flynn?
Ooh, finally, actual support and promotion for PvP in Final Fantasy XIV. And not just support, pretty tidy prize pool.
I mean,
what is it? The North American Regional Championship.
Yeah, this is just for America, 22,500.
Not a lot.
Being split between 4.
Isn't it 5? Isn't it groups of 5? Christine Conflict is 5, right?
I don't do it that much. I keep forgetting.
That's what, 4,500 if you win. 4,500 a piece. Government's going to take half of that. So there you go. 2,250 if you win.
I think the confusion came around for the fact there was invitations to FanFest as well.
That's nice.
So much for being sold out ticket-wise. They had some in
That's where those tickets went. Damn it.
Yeah, and those go to the top 4 teams. In-game achievement, in-game title for top 8, top 4, and the winner. The top 4 teams get the tickets to FanFest, and then first place gets cash prize of $22,500. What a weird number.
It is weird.
It's not. Hey, there's 5 people on the team. Let's give them $5,000 a piece. Like it's just like, what a weird number. When does this kick off? I mean, this is nice to see, but preliminaries are scheduled to start June 3rd.
Yeah.
Participating teams are divided into 8 brackets. Do you have to sign up like now? I would assume that's because that's not far away. Must be 18 years. Got to be in the U.S., Mexico, or Canada. Must communicate in English. Must be able to attend the following events. So yeah, I mean, you just have to register. Up to 32 teams may participate. If more teams register during the entry period, the tournament sponsor will use the following methodology to select which 32 teams participate. Result of their previous Crystalline Conflict season status. Well, Tark, you're boned on that one.
Yeah.
So am I. Flynn, do you PvP?
I just log into the casual once in a blue moon. So as if I'm waiting for something like quick rank match or quick casual, and that's as far as I go.
Accuracy of the information registered on the Square Enix account and in-game play status. So I would imagine if you've been contacted by a GM anytime in the last 6 months, don't bother registering. Don't bother registering.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have mixed emotions about this one, Tark. Like, I'm all for Square Enix putting cash prizes and things like and support for things. I really wish they would do more on the FFTCG front, but that's a totally separate topic. Totally separate topic. But it's kind of like that's where you're going to put the support is PvP in Final Fantasy XIV. Crystalline Conflict is definitely better than what you had, but
Yeah.
whatever, I guess.
I
I've
think the
mixed
person who's
emotions on this one.
happiest is Frosty.
Oh yeah, I haven't even seen. What was his reaction?
I'll have to find
He's
his tweet again.
he's a shoutcaster for that stuff, right?
Well, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No. It's kind of
That's
meh.
a no
I think the prize pool is kind of meh.
Like, I don't want to fault them for doing it, but I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
I feel like you could do other stuff. Like, I feel like it would almost be more exciting if you were going to do this type of thing if you did not like exactly like the way World of Warcraft does the Mythic Dungeon Invitational. Like, dungeons are kind of a joke in Final Fantasy XIV as far as difficulty and stuff like that goes. But like, if you took some of those extreme fights or some of those Unreal fights,
Criterion
or Criterion dungeons, Savages, and did those as a race, I honestly feel like those would do better on a larger scale for not only competition, who's coming to compete, but also watchability on stream as far as who's going to come and watch them. I hope it does well because I like to see them sink money and time into anything, but I just feel like, look, you got PvE and PvP. You can make your PvE more competitive in nature. Maybe not in the game client because that's not their goal there, but you can certainly say, hey, Team A and Team B race. On your mark, get set, go, clear it. And number of deaths will be plus X seconds and stuff like that. I don't know. Is the PvP community in 14 really bigger than I'm imagining it? But it's always just seemed like a small fraction to me that, I don't know, maybe the money would be better used elsewhere. Or are they hoping that this type of thing gets more eyeballs on it, Tark, and it becomes bigger? And maybe that's the impetus behind this.
I'm not sure what metric they're going by. Is it just engagement, a la what Blizzard used to do? But that engagement is kind of fluffed up by the fact that there's a series and people want to get those rewards, and some of the new items in the trophy shop are kind of appealing, which I've been looking forward to. Is it, ranked play? Maybe. Like I have a hard time believing that the PvP scene is a better growth spot than the raiding scene. I feel like the PvE and the raiding has more people engaged in it on a day-to-day and week-to-week basis than PvP.
Flynn, did you find what Frosty said?
Yeah, to quote him, I put it in the chat as well, and the PvP community's mind just exploded.
Okay.
We'll see. Like, I don't want to
data center. My own. There's always been Discord communities who always promote PvP on like a Saturday. Rival Wings group, I think they were called. Every Saturday at 6 p.m. British time, you could just queue into any like frontline normal PvP back in the old system and find someone for the next 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
So there's been a communities there.
I've been doing a bunch of PvP right now because I'm triple, sometimes quadruple dipping here. I'm leveling White Mage through PvP. I'm getting my series done. Also getting Mogul Tombstones, and then I'm helping other people get their Garo mount. So right now is the perfect time to do some PvP. But outside of this window, like I don't really engage with it all that much. So
yeah, I think it's also easier for them to monitor. With the controversies around the raiding scene at the minute, the reason why they don't want to promote.
Like add-ons and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could still use certain add-ons in PvP, but...
And still can cheat and game the system there.
But the fact that the final bits are going to be set in Las Vegas at FanFest, you're going to be on their machines, which they can monitor.
But they could do that with a PvE thing, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it's a kind of a missed opportunity. Unless the intent is what I said earlier, like they want to try and see if they can get more eyes on PvP than are currently on it. In which case, I wish them luck, but I honestly don't feel like this is the way to do it. I feel like the people that are going to watch this and participate in it are the people that already watch, participate, and enjoy PvP in 14 anyway. It's you're not likely to pick up new players to the game because, oh, I didn't know they had PvP and it was this cool. Let me go do it. You know, you're not watching this stream, I don't think.
For some reason in my head, I was like, hey, the finals are here, and people come and crowd around and watch. And then as soon as it's done, there's like a smattering of golf claps and everyone disperses. Just, okay, it's over. That was the thing. We saw it.
Hey, we always get some weird 14 collaborations. Like we showed off the Puma gear back when they did that, the Final Fantasy XIV Puma gear. We talked about the shoes a little while ago and showed those. The just kind of weird. We didn't like the color schemes of any of the shoes.
Yeah, they were a little.
These aren't great. Here's a new one. So, yeah. Here's a new one. And this is only in Japan at the moment. Only in Japan at the moment. It's not brand new. You know what I mean. Steam Cream. Final Fantasy XIV branded moisturizer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that Y'shtola or Gaia look, right?
Healthy looking definitely skin. Give you that
G-shaded looking skin.
That Alice sheen. That's what you're going for.
Alice sheen.
There's
that Loporrit fuzz. Wait, no.
So these are kind of like the limited you're seeing on your screen. These are like the limited edition tins that they come in. So a number of different tins. Now, it's only in quote-unquote Japan. However, there are sites like Garland of Dew that say they will do worldwide shipping. I haven't ordered any, so I don't know like if you're actually able to pull this off or not, but they claim they can ship to 228 countries and regions. So you may be able to get some through international shipping if you want to get it that way. They're about $15. For your moisturizer, for your Final Fantasy XIV moisturizer, when you're playing PvP and feeling a little chappy.
Feeling a little ashy. Like, I thought this was weird when they first announced it back in January. I think it was the live letter then. And it was only for the pop-up shops in Osaka. But yeah, it's finally becoming more readily available. So
remember what other collabs? We saw the what was it? Oh, the Final Fantasy XIV hotel rooms. Remember those?
Hotel rooms. Then there's
they basically just looked like a closet because they were very Japanese style hotel rooms. So they basically were a closet.
Yeah. Tikal is right. This is the most strangely monetized game.
It is. Weird. I am waiting for the alcohol, the pre-prepared meals.
I mean, you had a $3,000 guitar, for God's sakes.
The guitar's badass. I mean, you can get the cookbook, Flynn, and then you can start making these Eorzean meals.
Yeah.
No. We need
and then when your hands are chapped, you can you can put some moisturizer on, open up your little Loporrit's tin, get that bunny moisture out of there, and put it on your hands. I bet Cal says, I bet before it's all said and done, there'll be 14 body pillows shaped like close. A certain cat girl, I'm sure.
We're close. Probably. We're close to that because we already got the neck pillows. So the next step, increase the size of pillows.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yoshi PC.
This has got to be a thing,
freaked
right?
Out by those of all things.
This has got to be a thing, right? Maybe not officially, but hey, there we go. FFXIV body pillows. There's an Etsy result literally called FFXIV body pillow. But these seem to be pillow covers.
Yeah, wasn't Yoshi P asked to sign one recently?
I think he didn't.
Oh, they are. So they're just not stuffed. Yeah, they are body pillows, but they're just not stuffed. Hi, Y'shtola. Jesus. Hi.
I know someone that wants two Estinian ones, one for each side.
Yeah. So let's just say that side A has more clothing.
It's inappropriate for this particular podcast to show the details of which
has less than full clothing.
So that's Y'shtola. There's Graha. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean that one. We're not stripping there. Oh, look at this! How courteous. There's a Hythlodaeus one, but they've blurred the image because of Endwalker spoilers.
Oh,
how thoughtful. Okay. Here's Thancred, Thancred and Y'shtola both kind of getting naked, but Graha doesn't fully. Nobody's fully nude here on here, by the way. It's very tasteful weeb. This is what's going on here.
Lord.
Well, except for Harshfont, okay, who's literally just in boxers.
I am so using that from now on. It's tasteful weeb.
It's tasteful weeb. It's tasteful weeb. Okay, so now that we've gotten sidetracked by 14 body pillows, thanks to Cal, let's slide over and talk about some other Square Enix news on the Final Fantasy XVI side of things. We had a Twitter status, it come from Une Sensei, saying Sony literally forbids Square Enix from working with Microsoft. And notice it said developers, so that it's more than just Square. How in heaven's name isn't this anti-competitive behavior? And so I think it was Flynn, you were the one that saw this.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it, online. We're like, where's their source? Where's the source? Where's the source for this? Turns out it was actually hidden in something we already talked about.
Oh.
So on Gaming Gumbo, we've talked quite a bit about Sony and their opposition to the Microsoft purchase of Activision Blizzard. But hidden inside there, and good on Une Sensei. I don't know if it was them that found it, but good on them for finding it, or credit to whoever found it. In a very, very long document, 111 pages, filed by Microsoft in response to a bunch of allegations with governmental bodies. There are references in section 3.67, if you're actually looking at the document itself, that say specifically Square Enix. Specifically. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, no, I'm scrolling. 3.4, 3.43.
Page 64.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I had the link queued to go right to it, but I didn't hit the right one. Here we go.
Keysage of 3.67. That top
Exclusivity strategies are not uncommon in... Keep in mind, this is Microsoft talking. Are not uncommon in the games industry, and other market participants have access to their own content. Both Sony's and Nintendo's exclusive first-party games rank among the best-selling in Europe and worldwide. Current Sony exclusive content includes prominent first-person titles such as The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, and Spider-Man. All good so far. In addition to having outright exclusive content, like God of War, Sony has also entered into arrangements with third-party publishers which require the exclusion of Xbox from the set of platforms these publishers can distribute their games on. So we're not talking about titles like God of War where they're just Sony exclusive because Sony bought exclusive rights to them. We're talking about other games now that could potentially go on other systems, maybe after a timed exclusivity period or things like that, that Sony in their contracts is Microsoft is alleging specifically says you cannot put this on Xbox or we ain't dealing with you. The exclusion of Xbox from the set of platforms these publishers can distribute their games on. Some prominent examples of these agreements include Final Fantasy VII Remake, Bloodborne, the upcoming Final Fantasy XVI, and the recently announced Silent Hill 2 Remastered. Nintendo's exclusive content includes well-established, globally famous and iconic franchises such as Super Mario, Zelda, Xenoblade, Pokemon, and Animal Crossing. Does not go on to make the same accusation about Nintendo, but does specifically say that, hey, not only is Sony assigning exclusivity contracts, Tark, but they're actually signing contracts saying when it's time to go on other platforms, Xbox ain't one of them.
I mean, I guess it's in their right to make those contracts. It's just about how much money you back up to Square Enix to be like, yeah, that makes sense now. I'll do that.
This is the company that's asserting that Microsoft making things exclusive to them in a potential acquisition of Activision Blizzard is detrimental to their business and the games industry as a whole. That's their argument.
Yeah.
And then they're doing stuff like this behind the scenes.
Hey. Well, they're now getting kind of poked at by the U.S. government, aren't they? Because things are kind of coming out to the light. So, like, some U.S. representatives are like, "Hey, what is all this talk about Sony? Coming over and messing with our deals over here with American companies." So, I wonder if there's this whole U.S. versus Japan thing going on right now. That's just a little bit weird, but.
Flynn, what did you think when you first saw this? Because you were the one that you and I were talking about it.
Yeah.
I was like not surprised, but kind of surprised, but how far it went.
Yes.
It's kind of silly in some ways. It's like, yeah, they're forbidding this when, up until an actual acquisition, Fable was third party for Xbox. Have I ever seen that on PlayStation?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not surprised by exclusivity in games. I'm not surprised by timed exclusive in games. What I am surprised by is, again, this is Microsoft talking. I don't know how in-depth their knowledge of certain Sony contracts is. I mean, they name specific game examples here, which would make it real easy for somebody like the FTC or the UK body, which just turned down the Activision Blizzard merger, or the Microsoft Activision merger, by the way. They turned it down this week. They denied them.
Yeah.
So they'll appeal, and we'll see what happens there. But it'll make it real easy for them to say, hey, Microsoft alleges that this happened with the Final Fantasy VII Remake contract. Sony, let us see the Final Fantasy VII Remake contract. I can't imagine Microsoft putting exact games down as examples of this if they didn't know for sure that that's what the contracts were going to bear out, right? That'd just be kind of dumb. And so I'm not surprised by exclusivity or time exclusivity at all, but literally going the extra mile and saying, oh, by the way, when the exclusivity time period is over and we do go to PC, we do go to Nintendo Switch, you are not to go to Xbox. Can't do it. Sign here. I mean, they got to be paying out so much money to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're Square Enix, you just say, screw it. No. Launch day will be available on all platforms and we'll make our money back that way instead. Like, the money has to be astronomical, right?
Yeah. And then you go wonder, is Square then going with that price tag to Xbox and saying, hey, this is what Sony wants us, to make it exclusive to them. And what's your offer? They're like, F that. I'm not doing that. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. We'll see.
Stepping away from the PlayStation bit a sec. For PC, for the last good few releases, Epic Store has been the main place where the AAA Final Fantasy stuff has gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's probably not just Sony. Sony and Epic just paying Square, you're coming here first. Especially if they are in the financial
Which I'm not at all
straits
surprised by. They want to front the money to get it there first. I totally get that. Companies have been doing that for decades and decades and decades. The only part that surprised me was the additional addendum of when you are allowed to go anywhere, there's one place you aren't allowed to go. Like, that part I was like, that's a little weird. Speaking of Final Fantasy XVI and PlayStation 5, though, take a look at this. Oh,
I know, I want that so bad.
Final Fantasy 16 PlayStation 5 console bundle. Pre-orders open on May 4th through PlayStation Direct, and it'll be released alongside Final Fantasy 16 on June 22nd. There's also going to be controllers. However, the controllers are only in Japan.
At the moment.
That controller looks badass.
I think Kuji has it up for purchase right now.
And the controller. Oh my god.
Yeah, that controller looks sweet, doesn't it?
Yes.
Controllers like that, I'd be scared to use because you'd end up rubbing away that beautiful artwork if you use it.
What do you think of the artwork on the system? Like, obviously, I love it and I think it's nice, but I think it's kind of plain. Like, I like the logo, the etching and the coloring is nice, but I've seen some really dope PlayStation 4s or Xboxes, and actually Xboxes in particular. There've been some really dope company-sponsored art version Xboxes. This is certainly nice. It's very minimalistic. It's very stylish. Logo, and that's it. I kind of maybe wanted like this to be brighter and pop more and the art wrap around the damn thing. And it's kind of like they made an all black version of the current PlayStation 5 and they just took a rubber stamp with the logo and were like right in the middle.
This does speak to British Final Fantasy players.
Does it?
Because we had this chat months and moons ago now, but our game releases for Final Fantasy is less. We just get the artwork on a case. And this just appeals to me. We don't get the one with the characters.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It's gorgeous, and I want one. I'm not getting one, but I want one.
I want one too.
But I also can look at it and go, God, I want that, like, Ifrit and, that fighting artwork. I want it to wrap around the damn machine. Like, turn it on the top, and I see Ifrit. Turn it on the bottom. I see that's the way make this bright and colorful, and this kind of takes away the colors. It's more subdued. I get it. It's cool. It's beautiful. I want one, but I also want more. Like the controller is dope. The controller I think is absolutely dope. A mono ain't cheap. That's all they could afford. Honestly, I'm going to tell you something.
When it case from 15, that thing was fancy.
When it comes to Final Fantasy TCG, there are certain things that they cannot do with a mono art.
Mm-hmm.
There's licensing deals that go way back, and you're right. I mean, the Amano art, while gorgeous, certainly a lot of the historical art too, does create licensing problems. Like his art can't be on certain cards, and there's goofy stuff that goes on behind the scenes with that stuff, particularly Amano's older works. It's gorgeous, man.
Laws at work.
I would get 2 of those controllers, one to use and one to put in a case.
One to put in a case.
I mean, you do that with the cards, right?
I do, but here's the thing. Like, this one's weird for me. I don't know if I would do it. Like, looking behind me, you can see I buy a lot of duplicates of Final Fantasy and Square Enix stuff and leave things sealed. I don't know if I would do it with a controller though, because like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, maybe nobody's playing Final Fantasy TCG anymore because the game has gone the way of the dodo or whatever. But those cards still have inherent collector's value for just being art by themselves. And maybe you can make the argument for this, but this thing loses all functional ability at all as soon as the PlayStation 6 comes out and the PlayStation 5 stops being made. Like, there will come a time where this does nothing at all except look neat.
I mean,
can you make the argument for other collectibles too? Sure.
Oh yeah.
But they already inherently don't do anything. If nobody's playing Final Fantasy TCG, the cards do nothing in my house. Like this.
Did he just call to you like Smeagol? You just start looking at my precious.
Little bit.
There is something. It's just warping your soul.
My wallet. That's what it's warping.
To the void.
Yeah. Hey. Square Enix put up an AI tech demo on Steam, and I don't know if any of you have tried this yet. Yeah, I mean, it's free. You can go do it. It's a quote-unquote, it's not a full remake, it's a tech demo of an older game. If you've never played it, good luck playing the tech demo. But the Portopia serial murder case, excuse me, is a kind of a remake of a game, an adventure game back in the 80s, like early 80s. We're talking like text-based adventure games, Zork, that type of stuff. Yeah. And so Square Enix... Wait, what racist stuff is said? What are you talking about? AI. Huh? Oh, no. No, the AI didn't say any racist things, at least not to my knowledge. It probably will at some point, but it hasn't yet. So they put up what should have been kind of neat thing. Hey, let's take this old text-based adventure game, Tark. And if you've ever played old text-based adventures, sometimes they used to make you want to bang your head against the desk, right? You'd say to pick something up, and that wasn't exactly the text that the game was looking for, and so it didn't understand what you actually wanted to do. Like it would say it wanted take key, and you were like, pick key up, remove key, put key in pocket, and it wanted take key. So what this thing's trying to do is they call it AI. It's not. It's probably better described as machine learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trying to use that in the context of games so that you could ask questions to the quote-unquote AI or word things differently. And if it wasn't expecting that type of input, it would at least be intelligent enough to play along with you as like your detective partner and maybe guide you towards what the game was looking for or guide you towards what you... It sounds very neat in theory. As somebody that loved text-based adventures back in the day, Guild of Thieves is still one of my favorite games ever. If you've never played it and you've got the patience for a text-based adventure, Guild of Thieves, play it. Not going so well, though. Not going so well, Tark. What the hell's going on here?
Well, Kotaku just ripped this thing to shreds. they think the premise of the game is interesting, but the way it went about, like showing its capabilities, apparently Square just completely missed the mark. Like, to the point where, like, I see on the left-hand side of these screenshots, like these are the suggested. It's like, well, I mean, if you're going to give me the answers, like, it's not really learning then much to guide you. It's handholding. It's just weird. The whole thing's weird, and apparently the tech has not evolved a lot since 1980 whatever. So I'm not even going to try it. It just looks bizarre.
Did you try it at all, Flynn?
No, this is one of those games that I call it popcorn games, where you just get a bag of popcorn and read the comments for an hour.
Oh, some of the comments are hysterical.
I got two in front of me that are quite different on the spectrum.
Go for it.
We got one by Sargonius. It actually works when you enable the debug overlay with voice parsing results. You need an insane amount of VRAM to use the high-quality parser, and on low-end PCs or laptops in his case, voice recognition can be really messed up. Still, it's quite fun to play and try. And then on the complete polar opposite with the rest of humanity, it seems, as someone who uses NLP, the programming language they're trying to use in their own projects, it's obvious that there's no NLP or NLA here. It's not implemented correctly. This doesn't even come off as a bad chatbot, as it doesn't even do the chat or the bot part. It straight up waits for specific prompts without any variations. Try again later, Square Enix.
Seems like the AI is really good at saying maybe we should focus on the task at hand. And there's screenshots of the AI repeatedly that's maybe we should focus on the task at hand as the reply. Then somebody did recommend it with a review that said, I hissed like a cat and the game crashed.
Scared it into crashing. That's
so
awesome.
We have a new lowest rating for Square Enix. Hey, before we hit love it or leave it, we don't have to go through this whole list. I just thought it was a really neat one. We've kind of brought a list to a couple of shows, and this is from last year, albeit. So although if you look at their number one on the list, it's still current. 10 mistakes that still haunt Square Enix to this day. Obviously, like the original Final Fantasy XIV launch has to make this list, right? Like it absolutely has to be.
Yes.
And it is. It's number 10. They kick it off with that. Avengers is one that has to be there. It's number 9. Then thinking through, Flynn, what other things have to be on this list in your brain?
As much as I don't like to see number 8 where it is, because I actually enjoy the film, that almost crippled them.
Yeah, Spirits Within, that not just crippled, that almost closed them.
Yeah.
That studio in Hawaii was so fucking expensive. And the fact that this flopped is what caused Enix to take a step back on potential mergers. Now, luckily, a while later, things rebounded. 10 came out after it was delayed, and things were looking good, and Enix came back to the table. But this, Spirits Within almost closed the company, not just crippled it. New Legacy of Kain was canceled.
I did not know about that. That surprised me.
For Nosgoth. Yeah, you don't remember Nosgoth?
I don't. I didn't
Yeah,
remember
Dead
that.
Sun was the original one that was going to come out, and it just ended up getting canceled. And then Nosgoth was a free-to-play. We covered it on MMO Bomb for a while. Jason Winter actually really liked Nosgoth, but he also wasn't a fan of the series to be disappointed by this is what it's become.
Such is the way.
Yeah, Spirits Within is not number 1. No. Number 6 is the Third Birthday spat in the face of Parasite Eve fans. Yeah. 5, Yuji Naka blew his last chance with Balan Wonderworld, and then went ahead and blew his chance on being a free man. We'll still have to see how that goes.
Which is more disappointing, that the game or
I don't think he'll end up doing time. I don't think he'll end up doing time. I think they'll be.
If he's smart, his lawyers are like, do a plea deal, please.
They didn't walk away with nearly enough cash to be sent to prison. I don't think. Although, different country, different laws, so we'll see. Sure. Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest insulted Western gamers' intelligence.
No, this game was awesome. I loved it. Came out at a perfect time for me, that age where you're like still learning about RPGs, and it has just enough systems that it doesn't overwhelm you. I love Mystic Quest. Mystic Quest was awesome.
Mystic Quest is freaking abysmal, and you should feel terrible. Flynn, you guys never got it. That's right. Like initially back in the day.
Yeah. My son loved this game about it. It's
called Final Fantasy Easy, and we should avoid it like the plague.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Mystic Quest
it's dumb. Mind Jack was terrible in almost every conceivable way. Yeah. Final Fantasy All the Bravest is a pay-to-win piece of trash. That's number 2. Yeah.
I agree.
Number 1, even though the list was last year, NFTs betray everything Square's most acclaimed titles stood for. Yep. 100%. You can't look at the story of Final Fantasy VII and say, yeah, Avalanche totally would have been behind NFTs.
Square Enix has become Shinra?
They have become Shinra. That's going to do it for us. Let's go over and do
section of Avalanche who did sell some NFTs to some shady Shinra workers to fund buying some weapons here and there.
Let's go to do Love It or Leave It. Love it or leave it is the way we end every episode of the Relic Grind. Here's where I give you something Square Enix related. Could be a game, a feature, a press release, something they said they've done. And I ask you whether you love it, want more of it, or leave it. It's been a slow week, so what I've asked everybody to bring today is on the love side of things. We're going to focus on some love.
All the love.
So, Tark, I want to know what Square Enix non-Final Fantasy game, I said game, not RPG, can be an RPG, but doesn't have to be. Sure. What Square Enix non-Final Fantasy game is your sleeper love it title?
Sleeper. I wanted to go Chrono Trigger because it's not Final Fantasy. This is where my brain first went to, but that's not much of a sleeper. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, I would think Chrono Cross would be more sleeper than Trigger if you wanted to go with the series. Yeah.
So I had to go. Oh man, it was hard. Because I wanted to do Vagrant Story, or do I do Valkyrie Profile, the original, back on like the PS1.
Right.
Then I had to go even further back, and I think my sleeper has got to be Super Mario RPG. I think it's just perfect.
The OG.
Amazing. So that's my love it sleeper.
I could see that. I love that game. SNES, fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got, Flynn?
Like I messaged you.
I know. Right before the show, guys. Right before the show, Flynn could not decide. He had. I don't know what his 2 are. He didn't tell me, and I didn't ask. But he said, "Hey, does it have to be developed by Square, or am I allowed to include published by Square? Like, what are the rules?" And I said, "There's no rules. You can pick whatever you want, sir. Whatever makes you happy." And he said, "All right, I got 2. I'll try to narrow it down by the time the show's over."
Yeah. And even when I'm looking at this list, I'm like, which one? Right, so it won't be the choice, but for the developed side, it was the Bouncer.
Really? I hated the bouncer.
I did too. I really did.
One of those points of early PS2 games, that's what I had access to, so that's what I played, and it left a soft spot. But the other one is an RPG on the Xbox, developed by Tri-Ace.
Oh, I know your game.
Do you?
Yeah, I think I do. Go ahead.
Does it feature the voice worker Johnny Young Bosch?
Uh-huh.
Yep. Then you know it. Infinite Undiscovery.
Yeah. There's there are a couple characters in that game that are just beautifully crafted and voiced, and then there's one or two that you're like, can I turn off just certain voices? Like, I don't want to turn off all voiceovers, but can I have a character by
voice
character?
Off of the final boss.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well. I'm going to go back to the PlayStation 1 era, and people my age are probably going to go, that's not a sleeper. But if you talk to people today, it is absolutely something that most would not be familiar with. But if you are as ancient as I am, then you absolutely probably remember Xenogears. Not Xenosaga, which took place later and isn't even by Square and just kind of had some of the same story beats, spiritual successor. I'm talking Xenogears, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Mechs, religious and philosophical quandaries, very Jungian in its storytelling, and absolutely incredible game. PlayStation 1. Yeah, you might pay a pretty penny if you buy a disc, but, maybe there's a way to play it some other way. I don't know. Like, you could probably find a way to play it.
You might need a BIOS
from
a friend or something.
You might, like, Google something and... Maybe.
Not that we can
way to digitally preserve
Takao
it.
saying Dragon Quest 8. Love me some Alchemy Pot. Yeah, Dragon Quest 8. Super good. Super good. I don't talk about Xenogears enough. You think people today know about Gears? I think some people probably know about it, like if you're hardcore into RPGs. Yeah. But like if I ask my kids what Xenogears, neither of them's going to know. Torchwick might have heard of it before. Because he collects the Final Fantasies. He definitely needs to play Xenogears. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
it's PlayStation 1. What the fuck are you talking about? How young do you think I was when I had my 18-year-old college student son? Xenogears was on the PlayStation 1, dick.
You just said you look young, Mike. That's all it is.
I was in high school when I played Final Fantasy VII and Xenogears.
Okay.
I had kids young, but not that young.
I sometimes forget how, I'm thinking, what? That was only 16 years ago. No, that was 26 years ago. Okay, so, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, put that extra 10 in there.
Recently, I know. You think Final Fantasy 10 years ago, Final Fantasy 6. Actual 10 years ago, Final Fantasy 10.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying kids in high school couldn't have kids, but Torchwick is only 18 now. So mathematically, I couldn't have been in high school when I had Torchwick. That's going to do it for us here today on the Relic Grind. Hope you enjoyed the show as always. Remember, we have got Gaming Gumbo on Saturday, and keep your eye on Twitter. If I do I'm going to do a recap stream of the Final Fantasy trading card game Materia Cup. It's either going to be tomorrow or sometime next week. I think I'm going to try for tomorrow though, so we can get that out of the way and done. Chat, don't go anywhere. Live after the show, she's back. She couldn't join us on the episode last week, but due to traffic, but she's here today. How are you, Faye?
Doing well. How about y'all?
Hey, yeah, I can't complain. Xenogears, ever heard of it?
Yes, I have heard of Xenogears, and mine, even though it is definitely probably not a sleeper, one of my favorite Square games of all time was Final Fantasy Tactics on the DS.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Torchwick's still finishing Final Fantasy Tactics. Like, he's still pushing through it.
It's a while.
Well, speaking of a while, are we still in Icewind Dale?
We are, but the good news is now we're at a point where it's not just me being a noob, it's a point where apparently most people quit the game. So we have a bit of a puzzle of a fight on our hands today. So hopefully we'll get there.
Nice. Don't go anywhere, chat. Faye will be up with some Icewind Dale. Just give us a minute or two. We'll take the stream down, relabel things, and we'll be back here next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, for another episode of the Relic Grind. Until then, Flynn, where can everybody find you, my friend?
You can find me on Twitter, just below my face, trying to spell out Lowlight. Flynn_Lowlight. Also find me on Twitch at Within Crisis. Bit more mature. I swear like a trooper. I am Welsh. I can't help it. I managed to just about give it for this show. I've just finished up Shadow War, so who knows what I'm playing next week.
We shall see. Tark?
Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at Tarkoth Gaming. Come hang out. We've abandoned Omega Protocol for now. We're going to go do some Ultimate. So that'll be fun. And then here on Ready Check Radio, as I continue on Final Fantasy 15, hopefully I get that done before 16 comes out.
One can hope. I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there at Magic Man 1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, RAIDEO. That way, you'll know every time we're doing a podcast, a stream, somebody's hanging out, or I'm just going to go talk about Final Fantasy TCG into the void, whether you listen or not. Until next time, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers. Later. No, it wasn't. Get the hell out of here.